Hello, I'm Jacob. You're watching the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. For audio today, I apologize. We're going to be fighting against the wind, the road, my voice, and probably a cough drop, but it is what it is today. We're going to be talking about small fixed blade knives. I've got them laid out. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen that I've been posting pictures and video of these knives, a new knife every day of the week. And so today I'm going to talk about them, and then at the end we're going to do some other knives that I could have or should have included in this rotation and talk about them briefly as well. So let's get to it. The first knife that I did this, so first off let me say that all of these knives basically all of them I took the hardware off and I put a simple bead chain on them, looped it to my belt loop, and put the knife in my pocket. This is probably, in my opinion, the second most convenient way to carry a fixed blade knife. The first most convenient way, in my opinion, being the Ulti clip, which I don't have right now. It makes drawing and resheathing a fixed blade knife as easy, if not easier, than a pocket knife. But the first knife is this medium camper from Tactical Pterodactyl. This was my first knife in 52-100. It's part of the reason that I'm doing this video, because I realized that a lot of people splurge on a custom knife or a knife in general on their biggest knife that's the least used. And if you're gonna buy a high quality knife, custom or otherwise, spend the money on a knife that you can use all the time and get your money's worth out of it. This is one of the hardest knives I own, 61 HRC 52-100. It's just been a fantastic user. It's super practical and comfortable to use. The Kydex is holding up great after all of this time. I honestly didn't expect that it would, because the method of retention is up here in the handle and the finger guard is completely exposed, which is nice for getting your finger up in there, but that's the most common retention point. So I was surprised that it's been holding up so well. It's just a fantastic piece of gear. Definitely check out Tactical Pterodactyl. Subscribe to his email list. He's a custom maker, so his knives can be a little bit hard to get. Man, when that email drops, click on it, go buy one of his knives. You won't regret it. This is the only mainstream knife on this list. It doesn't actually fit this mold super well, but it's such a fun knife to use, and sadly probably the knife I'll talk about the longest for negative reasons. But this is the Tops Knives Little Roughneck, 3/8 inch thick 5160. Holy crap. Everything about this knife is hilarious, because not only do you have the incredible thickness here, which is just absolutely absurd, but then at the tip they did an extra little drop to the tip there to make it tougher. It's already 5160, a knife that's not a steel that's not necessarily known for edge retention but just toughness. It's absolutely ridiculous, but actually this knife is far more practical than you would expect if you can pack the weight, because the edge thickness really isn't that bad. And I'm saying that I usually am bashing on Tops for their thick edges, even on their thin knives, but this knife performs exceptionally well. It's nice and sharp. The edge, like I said, is a decent thickness. It's centered. I really enjoy using it. Actually, what I'm going to talk about the longest is because the sheath. It's the sheath. When you try and line it up, your retention point on this sheath should be right here, the finger guard. The finger guard doesn't even line up. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but when the knife is fully seated in the sheath, the finger guard is way up here. So it's like they used the wrong mold and said, heck it, nobody's going to use this knife anyways, and just gave it the tiniest bit of retention right here. This knife will literally fall out of the sheath like nothing and just fall out on the ground, also because of its weight. The retention's just awful. It's actually the worst actual production sheath I've ever had. And like I said, literally somebody, like if you were to put this sheath in to where the finger guard matches that, it wouldn't even fit in the tip of the sheath. It'd be going all the way up that high. Literally, they made the sheaths and someone was like, hey boss, these sheaths, the mold isn't right, they don't fit. And he was like, heck it, just squeeze them a little bit. Nobody's gonna use these things anyway, nobody cares. Put the mouse down, Dex. Anyways, awful, awful, awful sheath. They should be embarrassed. And then I've never seen a Kydex sheath that didn't have rivets. It's like they started doing rivets and the boss was like, what are you doing? Putting rivets in the Kydex sheath, like every Kydex sheath on the planet. Don't worry about it. Nobody's gonna use that POS. Just put some bolts in it and call it good. Like, absolutely terrible, the worst. But the knife is actually good enough to be worthy of a Kydex sheath. I really enjoy using it. It's just a lot of fun. All right, now this is one of our other two production knives, but it's still a special production knife. This is from TFK, made in Bulgaria, and this is actually an outer limitless knife, the .3. N690CO, just a fantastic user, amazing handle scales, you know, just custom knife quality handle scales, or better. I mean, they're perfect. They're literally perfect. What an amazing little knife. I don't have too much to say about it except for that it's just absolutely beautiful and it just works great. It rides awesome in the pocket. I love the leather sheath that it comes with. I think it's a phenomenal value. Literally custom quality knife, and it's beautiful. Like, there's nothing bad to say. And usually when I talk the longest, it's because there is something bad to say. All right, this is the Wanderlust by Papa Bear Knives. This handle was inspired actually by one of my own designs, my Adventure Craft design. We'll talk about that a little bit later. A little bit larger, and we get a nice swept, almost Persian point here. High saber grind, thicker than the Adventure Craft. What a fun knife to use. It just slices fantastic. Edge thickness is wonderful. These Starry Night scales, like Vincent van Gogh, these actually glow permanently. Just wonderful. Square spine. Just such an incredibly cool knife. And good Kydex too. The Kydex has a nice click in and out. I wouldn't say that this is professional quality Kydex like some of the professional Kydex makers that we have here, but it's such a serviceable Kydex that I wouldn't necessarily replace it. It's good. Alright, this is a knife that I should not have shown necessarily. This is Bear Forest Knives. This is one of his very early knives. It was made custom for me, so it's not even a model that you can necessarily get anymore. She kind of thick. She ground kind of thick. As a beefy bushcraft pocket carry knife. It's just wonderful to use. The fit and finish is just absolutely not up to par with what he does now, which is why I shouldn't have used it. I literally just picked it for sentimental value because I love using it and looking at how far he's come as a custom maker. This sheath is by Armatis Carry Solutions. You'll see plenty of them on the table today. It's good. It's good. I think Armatis Carry Solutions is a good production OEM quality Kydex bender. And this has just been a fantastic and fun knife to use. Alright, this is our other production knife, but they're not made this way anymore. This is a Nordsmith Lapwing. It has a convex grind. These are made by LT Wright. Phenomenal knife. Now, out of the box, I liked it. I enjoyed using it, but after a while I realized, it might be hard to show here, but the grinds are different on either side, and the bevel was not consistent, and certain parts of the edge were flawless, and certain parts of the edge weren't. It took me a little while to realize that. And this sheath is by Grizzly Outdoors, another, I think, a good production quality Kydex sheath maker. We'll have more of his work on the table as well. But I actually was not satisfied with this guy. We have no positive retention, whatever. It's just a friction fit. So for me, I don't trust it. You know, I put it on the belt, but is it going to come off? Is it going to stay on? I don't have that click to give me any reassurance. It's not nearly as positive as I would like. I reprofiled this bevel, though I said it wasn't exactly consistent. I made it consistent as I could on my Work Sharp Precision Adjust sharpener. Brought it all the way out. Since the primary grind still isn't perfect, the edge still doesn't look perfect, but it's perfectly straight, and man, is this thing a performer. AEBL steel. I really like this knife, and I hate to be so down on it. Also, the factory leather sheath that it came with is fantastic. It's not the style that I like, but the quality really is fantastic. The new ones come in CPM 154 and have a Scandi grind. I think definitely a lot has changed since this production model, and I, without hesitation, put the mouse down. Do recommend definitely checking out Nordsmith. Fantastic little design, fantastic little food prep, bushcraft, everyday carry knife, the Lapwing. Love it. All right, and the last in this series is the first Jacobs EDC knife made by Paul LaRocca. This was a custom build that he did for me. At the time, I think he named it Jacobs EDC because he didn't have a whole lot of people special requesting a small EDC size knife and a high carbon steel. This is a ADCR V2. I think that a lot of people thought that was really weird at the time. I think it's become more normalized now, or maybe it's just become more normalized in my circle because of my influence. I'm not exactly sure. But the Kydex that it came with is great. Now, this thing's been through a lot. It's really old. The Kydex is starting to loosen up. Not quite as positive as I would like, but still good. Still acceptable. Still secure. And it isn't bad in the pocket. I actually, with this Chongus, the knife actually has fallen out on me a few times. That thing needs a new Kydex sheath. All right, so I want to talk now a little bit quicker about some of the knives that maybe should have been included. We're going to start off though with my Adventure Craft. This is Exodus Knife and Tool, my knife brand. I didn't include this knife because I show it off all the time. I love carrying it. It is one of my favorite EDC fixed blades, but because of that I felt like it'd be a little bit disingenuous to include in this lineup, so I didn't. But it is my brand. I'd be an idiot if I didn't mention it. Exodus Knife and Tool. Excuse me. All right, let's talk about essie real quick, minus the Azula. We have a JG3 with an early Armatis sheath, Armatis Carry Solutions sheath. We have the Gibson Pinch, and we have the essie CR 2.5. The Gibson Pinch doesn't really fit in with this list necessarily, but it still would be as easy to EDC as anything on the planet, if not easier. Very functional little blade. Very simple, functional little sheath. I love how it works. It's just, it does a lot more than you might think it would do. It'd be an excellent little EDC option, especially if you like a straight edge and a fine tip. This thing is a box opening machine. JG3 is one of my favorites. This is an Exotac bead, again sheath by Armatis Carry Solutions, phenomenal sheath. Love the knife. It's seen a heck of a lot of use. The scales are customized. I won't say by who, since he stole stuff from me because he's a D-bag, but the essie JG3 is one of the best balanced everyday carry slash primary belt knives on the market for a production knife. And then the CR 2.5 is kind of what started all of the craziness around my channel and influence for small fixed blade high carbon knives. This thing has been through so much. It's been through shooting classes and survival trips and all kinds of stuff. It's gone back to Essie for their factory resharpening so that I could review their quality on that. Just weathered, ancient, stained, and fantastic. This sheath is by Yellowhawk Customs Outdoors. I think it's just one of the best out there, and I think that this is the best accessory he's ever offered, is a ferro rod in this layout. To say I'm a fan would be putting it very lightly. Love this setup. Alright, now I've got one more Essie to show you, but I'm going to show it to you with a few other knives. Again, Armatis Carry Solutions with my Izula, Essie Izula, but I was going to show it to you with the Becker BK14. That is a collab between Essie and Becker. The handle's inspired by the Essie handle. I could say it's exactly the same, it's pretty close. And then another knife that's incredibly closely comparable size-wise, the White River Knives FC 3.5 Pro. A little bit bigger, but fairly similar. The Essie Izula is a knife that I actually wasn't super happy with because the handle and the blade just didn't really do it for me until I got handle scales on it. Now I really love this thing, but without scales, a lot of people love them, so definitely don't take this as gospel. Someone's gonna get pissed off. I really don't care, but it is what it is. But for me, the handle scales were the game changer. And then I think the Izula 2 would be even better yet. And then what you get with the BK14 is essentially the same handle length and everything else. You can get scales for it. You can modify the scales for it. You get a little bit larger Becker blade, great edge geometry. I've had a few of these with fit and finish issues, but for the price, you get so much knife for your money. This is $10.95 Crovan. And then, like, if you wanted a upgraded option, the White River Knives FC 3.5 Pro is the freaking absolute cream of the crop. S35 VN, perfect fit and finish, absolutely fantastic kydex from the factory. In and out is just so nice for production knife. You get a positive click. It comes with a ferro rod and a ferro rod holder. What a value these are. And this ferro rod notch, these other two, if you want to strike sparks off a ferro, you sharpen the spine. This guy, this notch here is super sharply squared, and you drag, and you get more surface area due to the shape of it. You drag a ferro across this thing and you are shooting fire. It's freaking amazing, and I love it. So, that's those guys that I wanted to show together. And we're gonna wrap it up here. The knife that really should have been in this comparison that I regret not putting into there is the Mineral Mountain Hatchet Works Maquette. This little 5160 3/16 of an inch thick beast. I love this knife. Maybe it's kind of goofy. I don't care. It is slightly hollow ground, but it's got good edge thickness. It's got the toughness, guys. Mineral Mountain Hatchet Works knows how to make a tough knife. Absolute tank. You can see the hamon there from the heat treating lines, differentially heat treated. And it just works so much better than I expected. It feels so fantastic in hand. This is a Grizzly Outdoor sheath. Wonderful retention in and out. Just absolutely fantastic. I should mention real quick, I should have mentioned, the Lapwing I would probably just keep the leather sheath for it, because this is the only real point you have to get retention to the Kydex sheath. It's going to be a very difficult sheath to make Kydex for. Probably should have pinched it in there more behind the finger guard. However, it is what it is. In my opinion, I would never send out Kydex that did not have any retention, so it's just irritated me. But Grizzly and our Mantis do custom work, but in my opinion, they are production quality. I think that they do good quality work. I think they do a good timeline. I think they do a good price point. I don't think they do the best artistic grade, premium grade of Kydex. For that, I like Yellow Hawk Customs Outdoors, Tiger Valley Tactical, and Black Bear Custom Kydex. I get Bear Forest Knives, Black Bear Custom Kydex, and Papa Bear Knives mixed up. It's really difficult for me, I apologize. Alright, the knife from Bear Forest Knives that I should have showed you, again this is in our Mantis Custom Kydex, is his JT4 Kephart. This little guy is just a fantastic worker. Wonderful knife to put some huge miles on. Nice square spine, very affordable price. This is a very old one still. It's newer than the other, but it's still very old. And his work has gotten nicer since then, but I should have shown this one off because it's one that you can still get, and it's just fantastic. I love it. So that's what I got, guys. A big old pile of small fixed blade knives. This video went way long, but I hope that you enjoyed it. It's been fun. I carry a small fixed blade every single day. Typically I carry one of my own design now that they're being produced and I've got that going, but I still love grabbing any of these knives for any particular day or reason, taking them out. They're just fun and fantastic, and I need to get custom Kydex on this guy. They've all got their things, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. I hope that you have a blessed day. Links to everybody here will be in the description box below. From the Kydex guys to the knife manufacturers to the custom makers, whatever, they'll be in the description box below. I hope that you have a blessed day, and I look forward to talking to you in the comments.